right. Welcome, everybody, to the No Means No Thing, No Means Nothing podcast, episode 17 already, for fuck's sake.
Wow.
Hard to believe.
17.
I'm one of your hosts, Jordan.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Michelle.
And together we form some sort of ridiculous No Means No Voltron. So we're going to regale you with some, once again, amazing fucking songs. But before we do that, I'll form the chest. And Michelle has no idea what we're talking about.
Of
Wonder Twins.
orange juice.
Activate. So you know the drill, everybody. Grab what you got out of your fridge, your coolers, your sidecars, whatever the fuck you got, and let's see what we got going on. I'm boring as usual right now. I'm going to drink this till it's fucking gone. The ammoniac.
Ah, lovely, lovely.
Yeah, and it smells so good too. Fucking I love that smell. All right,
I'm gonna
Michelle.
get some of that just to have some maybe someday. Maybe I'll have one of those with you.
Yeah,
Do
it's good.
you think I'll get
toast
plastered? Do you think I'd get plastered?
Yeah, if you drink too much, it's good to drink a little.
Oh, see, I don't sip shit. I down.
Well, take it and do a
quick.
shot. Like I sip it for this podcast, but the way I really enjoy this is like one or two just shots. It feels great, but I'm not. Then I'd be done on the podcast.
Yeah, but then you're like.
No. One shot of this does not get me shit faced, and I'm a lightweight, so
okay.
Take that for what it's worth.
Shit-faced. I don't like that.
No.
Speaking of shit faced, I brought another Irish Death. I saved it from the singles bin at the Trader Joe's.
Is that one? Is that like super alcohol? It's like got a big content in that fucker? What's the content?
It's got 7.8% alcohol.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Oh, it is.
I mean, it's
for
a
me.
lot, but
it is like Guinness is very low. So 7.
Yeah, Guinness is 4 or something.
4.2, and this is 7.8. So it's a lot, but I
Twice
really
the
do
death.
love this beer.
So it's drinking 2 Guinnesses, basically.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
No worries.
All right.
Although I'd rather drink 2 Guinnesses. Honestly. I do like this beer, so I'm gonna have some more Irish Death.
Sweet. Crack it open in the mic for me.
Nice.
Oh, I did it over here. I don't know if you heard.
That's all right. Oh yeah.
I'll pour it in the mic.
Loud and clear.
Oh shit! I'm doing it wrong. No, when you pour Guinness, you're supposed to just dunk it in there, and if you don't put it at an angle, you're gonna get too much fuzz.
This is ASMR for No Means No fans for sure.
This is embarrassing. Oh God, I'll never be a bartender.
Well,
anyways.
what a pity.
Yeah.
All right, Matthew. What the fuck you got on deck? Let's play our game.
Before I talk about beer, I just wanted to say, because I'm always talking about synesthesia and how no means no. It's just kind of a cool little story. I was picking berries from. Do you guys know what Oregon grape is?
Mm-mm.
It's not a grape. It grows in the forest. Anyway, I decided to make jam out of it because one of my Oregon grape bushes made a lot of fruit. So it has an interesting flavor, and both Lisa and I independently said, "Oh, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It doesn't have the words. It's a green flavor." and individually, we both sort of said the same thing, and I said it to somebody else, and who agreed, and she said, "The force that through the green fuse drives the flower." Which is a quote from a Dylan Thomas poem, and I just thought it was and she listens to the podcast, so I just said, Masha, yeah, that's exactly how they taste.
Wow.
Well, then get the hints. I'm doubly serious. Get the hints to the Green Knight right fucking way, because talking about synesthesia and green, that shit goes deep. Anyway.
Alrighty.
Hey,
okay,
I'm gonna do. It's not easy being green. There's my green to it.
Ho ho.
Okay, well, I have more, but
Kermit the Frog here.
These are the first cold beers I've had in a while because our fridge has been on the blink. I think it might still be on the blink, but it's not very on the blink anymore. So I actually have cold beer. It is perspiring. I'm happy about that. Tonight I have this one, the SOB Stiff Jab Pale Ale from Souk Oceanside Brewery. SOB. So that's a very sort of beery beer, I would say.
Mama.
I've got from Moon Underwater the Mango Island Salt and Cardamom Sour.
Oh, come on, no.
Aha, yes.
Too many words in that title.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've also got this one that Michelle's not going to be too fond of. I think it's the but you see, it's the coconut lime sorbet sour.
Oh, that is for sure the beer for tonight. That is for sure the beer. Fuck yeah. Pour it out.
Oh yeah.
My
This is
God.
it. We got a winner chicken dinner. Fuck, okay, you gotta stop before we get DCA'd or whatever they call it.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's the beer. That's the one. Do it. Crack it open.
God.
Crack it open.
I was waiting for that one.
You know what? It really would be
You're
worth
such a
it for
goof.
us. It really would be worth it for us to record these openings or these podcasts just for these fucking openings, just so people can see how fucking nerdy we are.
Stupid and silly and funny.
Well,
it is. It
you
is
gotta take a sip of that shit. I'm not moving forward till we
funny.
get the
Good
report.
luck. Oh, it's a big one. Look at it. It's another big. That's not sip.
That's very tasty. It doesn't
Ooh.
taste like beer at all. It
it-
tastes
is
like
it- Is there a lot of coconut in that fucker? Like, can
oh,
you
hardly
really?
no. No.
Because
No,
that's
no,
what
it
would
tastes-
gross.
Whoa, what's in
That's
there?
what would gross the fuck out of me.
I think ginger ale and beer is a shandy, or like lemonade and beer. It tastes like lemonade and beer.
All right.
It's good. It's good. I
Nice.
like it. It's
Refreshing
refreshing.
on a
It's
hot
fucking
day.
hot today, and we have like a red sun from stupid forest fires. So
Right.
Oh yeah, fuck.
fuck drinking chewy beer right now.
Yep.
Right.
Refreshing. Take
Yeah.
yourself to an island paradise. And speaking of island paradises, I don't know why I said that because none of our songs have anything to do with island paradise.
Do you have an audio?
I should also
do you
say
have
it's from
audio
Fieldhouse Brewery in Abbotsford. So.
Very nice. Little shout out, Les. We
That's a big
expect
bottle.
we expect cases of that shipped to each of us post haste. Thank you.
Yeah. And I did say at the VT liquor store, I mentioned the podcast, and it was a very punk aesthetic on the cashier, and I'm like, I'm gonna guarantee that you know who No Means No are, and she's like, there's nobody in the store, and and she's like, oh yeah, totally, absolutely. I'm like, oh, you need to listen. I buy the beer for this bit we do at the beginning of a podcast about No Means No. She's like, I'm giving you a discount.
Oh, snap!
Yep.
Shout out to you, listener, if you're listening
that?
to this podcast. Once you finally make your way to this episode 3 months from now.
Wow.
VT Liquor Store, Broadway, and
Oh my
Nanaimo.
God! Oh my God!
Unofficial sponsors of our favorite bit on the show. Fantastic. Very, very, very good. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you also have something interesting, or at least something that you like. I can't guarantee it's not as interesting as what Matthew just cracked open, but I hope someone out there's got something wild and crazy. And we've got some wild and crazy matchups for you. 4 of them, in fact. Well, 2 matchups, 4 songs. And our first one is going to come your way momentarily. We've got these 2 coming up against each other. I can see the entrance entering the arena. On one side, from the mid-period, we have Land of the Living from Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy? 1993. And then from the way back, Stop It, You Kill Me, 1985. I believe the first set of songs that had Andy on the mix.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
what,
it did.
Well, so Andy may correct me on that, but that's what Mr. Wiki told me. So
Yeah, I got to know that on the tape and the CD, so I didn't know that
Yeah, yeah.
Stop It was specifically on You Kill Me and not on
Yeah.
Sex Mind. So that's
Yep.
cool. That's awesome.
Yep. All right, so we're going to start with Land of the Living, which is, to me, I mean, this album is like the fulcrum, right? It's kind of seated right. I know it's not really right in the middle, but it's that not Andy era, not Tom era. It's just right in the middle. So we're going to start with that, and let's hear a little bit of it before we hear what Matthew wants to tell us about this song. So here we go.
There are those who are silent, yet who talk all of the time. Their faces never really show the way their quiet footsteps go. If you wanna walk, just get up on your feet. And if you wanna talk, just open up your mouth and speak. What is the ugly secret that you cherish in your heart? The truth that you can't stand. That drives you from the land
is kind of the fulcrum, isn't it? Because I mean, it's the first song on the first album after Andy was no longer in the band. So lovely song. The keys, I love. I think I'm sure this is like John arranged this one. I mean, because the keys are him, obviously, but yeah, it's very orchestral and band geekish in some ways. So I have a feeling like maybe John kind of came up into the treble area a little more, which is pretty awesome. The keys are lovely. They follow the bass. I love. There's so many soft and loud bits, crescendo and decrescendo. The howling part, not my favorite. And I don't really like the falsetto woo all that much either. But great growls and noises coming out of Rob on that. I think it's a song about falseness, people who don't let on or have ulterior motives, like kind of what are they hiding, and Rob, or the protagonist that Rob is inhabiting, just is sort of exhorting people to be real, and he doesn't have any time for people who aren't.
No phonies.
Yeah. So there's a little more stuff about the music. And if you want to walk with the loud keyboard bangs, so
very
so crazy,
creepy
percussive keyboard. The bass drum beat in the quiet verses is almost the same as from Body Bag, which is cool.
Oh, nice pick. I'm gonna have to listen to that again.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of the lyrics, I wouldn't give a sin is what it said in the lyrics online, and I actually went and got the lyric sheet because I always thought it was I wouldn't give a cent, but it's I wouldn't give a sin.
Yeah,
That's
which is another one of his little his little turns of phrase.
Huh.
Yeah, totally.
Wait, just a second about the lyric sheet though. Fuck you, Rob. Like I went on the internet, all over the internet finding lyrics. All over the internet finding lyrics for this. Great. They're on there. They couldn't understand some. They couldn't understand some of them. So I also went and found my lyric sheet. Shit's incomplete. Like it's missing it's missing a line at the fucking end. It's and then it's
he
missing.
Doesn't have to give you everything.
It's missing the last whole fucking verse for God's sake. So anyway,
something feet of clay on shifting sand.
But then the whole last verse isn't on there anyway, which is easier to understand. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, just pissed me off.
It got cut from the lyric sheet. That I'd written that in as well. I love the piano bits in the final chorus, and sort of there's some production choices with like the knobs turning and some feedback and I guess current sound. I don't know how to describe it, but and the guitar is like an alarm in parts of it. Yeah, great song. Maybe not one of my favorites off that album, but certainly a good starter for sure. A good amuse-bouche.
Amuse-bouche. Nice. All right.
What? Amuse-bouche?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
here it is again. You guys are talking Swahili. I don't know what you're saying.
That is
it's French. It's French, Michelle.
Amuse-bouche.
Amuse.
No, I mean Swahili. Like
no, not a
I don't understand.
Not a moose's bush. Not a moose's bush. This is not a Canadian saying. Amuse-bouche.
Oh,
right.
It's a moose bush.
Yeah. All right, I'm up. All right. So first of all, I gotta disagree with you on the whoops and the. I love every one of fucking Rob's little exclamations. He's having so much fucking fun. I'm right there with him. I love it. But all
it's
of
like
it,
Faith
the growls,
No More or something.
Sorta. It's all over the place, and I love it. This has got to be one of the more. This is not meant to be denigrating because I love this song. It's one of the more mellow openings to a No Means No album.
Kind of, yeah.
And, like it's not hard. This is not a hardcore song. I mean, it gets there are some hardcore parts, but it's not really necessarily a hardcore song, which is interesting considering what we're putting it up against.
Yeah, it's not very dark.
No,
there's no.
But I love the song. I think it's fucking great. I think this is a classic. But I love this whole album. I think front to back, it's just I don't know. It's of another fucking level. But so I really love this song. And yeah, it's this much like you said, Matthew. This is a song about shit that people have to hide, or people that hide that sort of inauthenticity. I think it contains like one of the great true No Means No aphorisms that someone might get fucking tattooed on themselves. My allegiance is to those who are alive, those who wear it on their sleeve and do not run and do not hide. Right. Like that's a saying of Rob. That's like, yeah, man, that's like distillation of a lot of what you try to say in a bunch of fucking songs.
And isn't a tattoo that covers your whole arm, isn't that a sleeve too? So
exactly, that's what I was thinking. Like,
put it there, put it there. There's
pretty.
one.
There you go. There's one.
Yes.
And what I love about it too, as with many of this, Rob does this a lot. He, the narrator, right? It does feel like a personal song in a certain respect, like many of his songs are on some level. He's not putting himself outside of this sense of inauthenticity. This is someone who's living in that world and doesn't want to be and trying to break out, but is also someone who's riding on the backs of everybody else, right? They want to be in the land of the living, but we're all not. We're all in this land of the dead, where we're just wearing these masks where, it's at once calling out the soul-sucking nature of conformity, but there's also this great alternate call to really expose those hidden parts of ourselves, those fears. And he's very explicit, talking about, what's that ugly secret you cherish in your heart? What's the truth you can't stand? It reminds me of that saying, that sort of weird heretical Gnostic gospel saying I brought up during Slade of, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. And if you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. I feel that a lot in this song. So sense that, like, if you're just covering it up and you're hiding and never showing anything authentic, then you're just dead. You're a dead soul, as it were. And there's this real call to just pull off all those fucking masks and join the land of the living. But we're not. We're all not. We're all zombies. We're all fucking dead. And I think the person singing the song is the same way, and they're wanting to escape that, much like, the person singing Metronome, whatever. This is a recurring theme that comes in a lot of things. But I think Rob's really staccato delivery of this, it really works for me. I fucking love it.
Totally
I do think John wrote probably a lot of this. I love the keys in this. I think they're fucking great. I love that they opened this album with a song with keys on it, which is, clearly, because
a lot of keys.
And they're both pulling more weight. Rob's pulling guitar weight, so he's probably like, John, fucking come on, pull some extra baggage, get some keys on this shit, right?
Let's make this impossible to play live.
That's right. Although it kicked ass live, it was great. They didn't have the keys, but it was fucking great. I don't remember what Tom did during it, but the guitar parts clearly, but great. Kudos to Rob for the guitar. It's great work. It's mostly just mirroring what's happening on the bass line to some degree, or doing some fill in the background. Although the end part that you highlighted, Matthew, is fucking great, where it's just real screechy. It does kind of feel like a siren, or just, I don't know, something else peeking in from another realm. It's really good. And I think we say all the time, it's really easy to say, wow, John is so good. But everybody listening to this, just stop, go listen to this song, and just listen to the fucking drums. It's not a song that you might normally go like, oh yeah, John's really fucking great in the song. He's really fucking great in this song. It's fucking nuts, especially during the choruses. And the verses are a little bit more straightforward, but the choruses, he's fucking it's fucking insane. He's going cray. It's fucking amazing. Yep. So yeah, no, I think this song distills a lot of what No Means No tries to say in a lot of other songs, and says it really well. Rob's in fine form. I love it. I think this is a really well mature No Means No song. I love it.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, Strangey, what's up?
Barrel aged.
I don't think we've ever used that word before, mature.
Probably not.
Interesting. No.
Well, we don't relate to it.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. All right, this is a tremendous, catchy song. There's plenty of places where there's lots of snarly lyrics, so the woven music patterns can shine.
Woven.
And like you guys said, I'm wondering if this is another piece written by John that was initially composed on a piano. It sure sounds like it. While there's lots of musical repetition with the bass line and drums, it still keeps my interest up and has a small, steady growth. It gets more angsty and more intense. Rob sounds fantastic singing this, and his high screams kill me. So I'm another fan, another scream fan here. Yep. I especially like you'll be proud of me. Here's a lyric I'm gonna say. There are those who are silent yet who talk all of the time part. I don't know what that. It starts out with a minor chord that's followed by a diminished chord, and I love that whole section and how it snarls into a cool and creepy landscape. Fantastic piece with tons of attitude and intrigue.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that keyboard part where you were talking about, where he's got the major key and then the minor diminish on the keys. Oh, so good, so good.
Yep.
Great
Oh.
use of keys. Great fucking.
Yeah.
use of
I
keys.
love listening to you guys talk about this stuff because I've been listening to this song for since the last time we recorded, 2 weeks. In the car is mostly what I listen to, and now I will go back and listen to more things about the song that I had not noticed. So, there you go.
Ditto. It's fucking great, right? I'm finding there's no diminishing returns on listening to these songs again and again. That's what I'm finding. Like the more I listen to them, the more I hear you guys talk about them, the more I fucking love them. It's pretty great. Not every band would be like that. So hats off to I guess that's why we're doing a fucking podcast about them.
Well, it's cool. I had a friend this weekend tell me, like, she knows of the band and knows me very well and decided to listen to the podcast just to, hear her friend on the podcast. And she doesn't listen to the music the same way I do or that we do. She listens to it as a whole. So she gets really interested in how we dissect it and what parts are brought out. And, after you hear the music part that you play, Jordan, later on, it's just kind of cool. And I don't know, I just think she has an appreciation for how we're dissecting things and taking it apart and critiquing everything, because that's cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Well, let's throw another body on the table for dissection. As much as it's looking up into our eyes, pleadingly screaming, "Stop it!" as we bring the scalpel down towards its face and chest. Let's pause the podcast. Let's just stop it for a second and listen to a little bit of this song. All right, so without a doubt, the part that I just chose to play has that fucking opening scream. So
You better play. I was going to say, You,
Don't worry. I got you, fam. Matthew, hit us.
Yeah. First thing I wrote starts with an Andy scream. Yep. My favorite.
Yeah, pretty good.
something like that.
Yeah. This is one of those rare No Means No songs where, I mean, I know they're entirely in control, but it's almost like they've tapped into some other dimension of like powerful force, dark force of some kind, and they're just able to keep a rein on it. Just kind of tapping it and riding that sandworm or whatever. It's yeah, the skipping drum beat with the tom fills at the beginning. The bass reminds me of like a growling animal that does not want to wake up, and you do not want it to wake up.
Oh, I like that.
The bass ascending scale, like I don't know if that's an arpeggio or just a scale.
No,
but
it's a chromatic. It's all chromatic.
Okay, chromatics, but
Yes.
changing chords.
Yeah.
Or something.
No, it's just going up chromatically.
Okay.
And then
anyway,
it goes to a different key, but it's lots of chromatics.
it's just so fucking relentless, though.
Yeah.
And that going up is in kind of dark, chaotic music. Just ascending anything is kind of unusual, and I think that's one of the things that really makes me. I guess again with the skipping drum beat, it's a very, very kinetic song. Yeah, Andy's tone changes as he's singing. Sometimes he's breathless, sometimes he's growling. Towards the end, there are some rests, like little silent bits. I can't fathom this, how they just stop like that. Little empty bits in No Means No are another, like Andy
So
screams, and like the little empty bits are my favorite bits. The little nothing bits.
Yep.
No Means No. The nothing is something.
They show you how fucking tight the band is and how they can just stop
Right.
on a dime.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And subject matter, I mean, it's really somebody who's about to lose his shit, I think. Somebody who's had enough. And it reminds me so much of kids that I worked with, especially, really kids who have difficulty with socializing and everything like that. And kids with autism, where I don't like what you're doing. They're about to explode. So upset that they're not fully articulate, and I relate to that totally. I lose my tongue when I'm stressed out. I can't put my words together, and so totally relate to this song. It's always been one of my favorites on this album. It's never a skipper, usually a repeater. Man, the double snare hit when he's going, "Leave me alone." Oh, it just, yeah, it reminds me of ways that I've felt. The breakdown with the guitar crazies, but still with the ascending bass. And I guess a little more stompy towards the end. Chaotic noise as they wrap it up and stop it. Oh, yeah, fantastic song. Maybe one of their punkier ones if you were gonna pigeonhole them. This one might be a little closer to that, but even so, just the musicianship and the drumming and the incredible fucking tightness of this song, being that it sounds so chaotic, such controlled chaos.
Right.
If you were really gonna, I think, show musicianship, especially for the early stuff, to a musician who hadn't heard them before, I'd probably like point them to this one, just for what can be done. Yeah.
So I'm gonna jump right in because I everything you said is right fucking on point. And to carry off that exact point, what I would say about this song, like last episode we talked about Obsessed, right, which is brilliant musically, but it's a calliope, right? Like it has a feeling behind it, but this one has that musicianship, but it has that other part of No Means No, which is the distillation of a raw, visceral feeling that we've all had to some degree or another, some of us more than others. So it combines musicianship with that raw fury and passion that these guys can exhibit so well. So I think no one would want to compare it, but I think it's a better distillation, like you had said, than something like Obsessed in terms of musicianship, which is a prog masterpiece. But this is like, it's both musically amazing, but really conveys that sense of how they can convey a feeling so tightly in music and delivery and lyrics and everything else. And it's
still pretty stripped down in a lot of ways. Yeah. And very repetitive in other ways.
Right.
And a narrow band. Like there's not a lot of their songs that take a narrow band of human existence and just fucking nail it and make you feel it, right? There's so many other songs that are so expansive and go so deep. This one takes a really narrow band of experience and just says, no, I'm going to fucking distill this for you right here perfectly. So fuck you. Right?
Everybody's been in that situation.
Exactly.
Of that person just pleading, saying, I don't like you and I don't like what you're doing.
And this is
so why don't you just don't? It's easy.
Why don't you just stop it?
And this song's brilliant for that. And I love the fact that you go from Mama to this. Like, this is like, what kind of fucking evolution is that? Right? That's fucking crazy. And I'm sure part of that is, or maybe a big part is Andy coming in. And let's talk about Andy for a minute. We're all going to say it. We all talked about it beforehand. That scream, fucking shit. Give me a break.
Yes.
Holy shit. But he's the master of sass. He's the fucking sultan of shade. He's the sheik of shriek. This guy is like the sheik of shriek. The attitude this guy can put forward in a song is unfucking paralleled. And for him to come out so early in No Means No's catalog with this level of performance it's just fucking unreal. It's unreal.
The fuck here of fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. That's nice. The fuck here of fuck you. I love it.
The sheik of shriek.
And About the bass line really quick, what I felt like they do this a couple times, but this almost sounds like I mean, it's ridiculous to say slowed down, but a little bit of slowed down of Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie. It almost feels like a similar chromatic scale of Dance of the Headless, but just much slower. But it's that same sort of constant upward thing. But it made me feel like there's this. First of all, it's this up, like you talked about, Matthew, which is fucking right on point. The fact that it's always ascending just always makes it feel like it's escalating, like it's coming to a head, but it never gets there to the end, right? That keeps it going. It's like that illusion of a barber's pole. It always looks like it's moving up. This is the same scale over and over, but it always feels like it's ascending because of that.
You also want to say lurching, but it's way too fast to be
it's
lurching.
Way too fast. It's the oral, the audio version of that optical illusion of an increasing spiral that's really just going round and round. It's the same thing every time. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like it's always going up and up and up, and it's just with Andy's delivery behind it, it's just like, fuck, by the end of it you're just exhausted listening to this song in the best way. It's cathartic, right? It's one of their songs that lets you experience that emotion in such a direct, real way that you don't have to try, that it's cathartic. You feel like, fuck, I got to release some shit just listening to this, you know?
I had to be careful. I was driving around as I do with the good sounds of. I had to be careful not to be like start getting aggressive or drive quickly or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, on the guitar, this is Andy in full brilliance of showing how, unlike most guitar, he's not trying to put in like fancy fills and shit like that. He is texturing it in this brilliant way that just plays this angular kind of fucking great shit underneath this repetitive bass line that constantly feel like it's moving up. It's just super chef's kiss to this shit. This is fantastic early No Means No of the highest order. So there I go. That's all I got to say. How about you, Michelle?
Oh, God, I wish we could listen to this while we're talking, because I'll tell you, I would go just complete apeshit. Look, I did another googly eyes on the paper. Googly eyes on the paper. The beginning of this, what in the hell? The use of relentless chromatics in this song is just astounding. Like music going up the stairs. And it's creeping, and it's creeping. And Rob's playing the same thing, but it just goes up a little bit. You're like turning up the heat on the fucking stove. And they keep inching up as the lyrics get more anxious. This piece is another fantastic example of the precision this band has with equal attitude of a disturbance. Now, look, I don't realize... I don't understand what I just read here. And I was listening to it and writing it, so just forget what I just said, because I don't even know what I just wrote.
Fucking made sense to me. Yeah, that was great. Oh, yeah, 100%. That was fucking great.
Equal attitude of a disturbance? I don't know. Maybe my prepositional phrase was wrong.
Hey, Michelle. Michelle?
Yeah.
You're saying fucking poetry, and it's beautiful. That's what poetry is. So it doesn't have to... Don't question it. Just let it come out. That's fucking great. I was just reading
words, and it didn't mean anything to me.
It does mean something.
It's like verbal diarrhea.
No.
All right. I'll continue. John is in the back like a fucking freight train on the loose. And Andy, Jesus H. Christ on the cross, Andy. Oh my God. His vocal delivery and his guitar work are fucking mind-blowing. Trying to find the words for how magical this is not easy. This song is so good. And all you can do is stare at the band as they play it, because you don't want to miss the shocking delivery. It's perfection that could make me cry. Literally, I think I'd cry if I saw this, if I could ever have seen it in my life. I think I would cry.
Yeah, I don't remember if I did. I don't remember if I did.
I tell you, I think I would, because my mouth would be just hanging open, be like, what the fuck is this? And one of my favorite parts of this song is when he just sounds so beat down. He's like,
yeah,
I don't like you.
Yeah.
And I don't like what you're doing. Just try to say those words and sound as cool. I don't think you can. Like, he had to, I don't know what he sounds stuffed up or something. The pained lyrics, and then what Rob and John are doing in the background, I have no words. Just the song is fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. Period.
Yeah. That's how you fucking play a hi-hat.
My God.
You had lots of words, and they were great. That was one of my favorite of your explications of their fucking shit. That was really? Fantastic. Yeah, that was fantastic. And I agree with that.
I don't like you.
And that,
And I
I want to
don't like
highlight
what you're doing.
I want to highlight what you said, Matthew, about that part. Like, it's true that really there's a pathos in that of someone who's so broken in their ability to, trying to get past that feeling that they can't communicate well anymore, and you really feel it. My son who suffers from some of this I recognize that feeling of just like you can't communicate through that feeling, and it's all there. It's all there in that fucking part. And the fact that they drop the guitar out during that part, and it's mostly just with just a couple of punctuations, and it's just the bass going on underneath it. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Fuck me.
Oh, before I decided not to do a thesis, I was actually going to write one about the disconnection of language as stress goes up.
Nice,
nice. Everybody can relate to that.
Yeah, well, here this is an anthem for that in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure most of you out there are either pleased or displeased about what this vote is going to come. I don't think it's probably pretty obvious what our votes are going to be, but let's get this on the record. Matthew, why don't you tell me what your vote is for this pairing?
This is one of those unfortunate pairings because I really love Land of the Living, but Stop It's one of my favorites. I'd say probably one of them ones I'd place in the top 5 3 out of 5 times.
Wow, nice. Nice.
So yeah, it's got to go to Stop It.
Nice. So I don't know, there's no comparison in the sense of how hard it is for me versus you guys, but this is a really hard one for me because I really, really, really do like Land of the Living, and I do not like putting it up against the song because they're so fucking different. First of all,
so different.
It's really hard. It's like fucking apples and oranges. I'm like, which do I like better? I like apples and oranges. I don't want to choose which fruit I want. This is fucking bullshit, but we did it to ourselves. So it has to be Stop It for me. But I just want to say to anyone out there who's pulling their hair out right now, I hear you. I don't want to put Land of the Living down into the Land of the Dead. Fucking sucks, but there it is. Strangey, how about you? I think we're pretty clear, but
Strangey's gonna vote for Stop It too. But I hear you guys. This is painful, but Stop It's just.
Jesus, just wait till we get round 2 and we have to put all our winners up against each other.
I don't know.
We're
You're
gonna
have to find
basket
somebody
case.
else. I'm not gonna add.
Oh no!
In my life. No,
you're not getting out of this shit. Sorry, you signed the dotted line. Okay. Blood. All right. Well, listen, we've put through Land of the... No, we didn't. We put through Stop It. Psych. And Land of the Living, unfortunately, went to the Land of the Dead.
Land of the Lost.
But there you go.
Yeah. God, it's lost. It's not
lost. Land of... Okay, so before we head on to the second pairing, we're going to hear a listener recording. And one of our listeners from England, Dan McKee, sent us this great No Means No origin story. And we're going to do something a little different this time. We actually figured out how to, hopefully, knock wood, play this live while we're recording the podcast instead of me sticking it in afterwards. I will
so we can say thank you, Dan, and not thank you, gentle listener.
Exactly. Right. And I want to say also, this one's a little bit longer because Dan recorded a good long one for us. So settle back, grab your beer or beverage of choice, water, whatever you got. And let's hear about Dan. Okay, so here we go, everybody.
So my name's Dan McKee. I'm from England, and my No Means No origin story, was when I was a teenager in the 1990s. I had a punk band called Academy Morticians, and we were big fans of Dead Kennedys. And so in that sort of youthful, opportunistic way, we sent off a copy of our music to Jello Biafra, sort of hoping for a response, and we actually got one. And in his lovely letter back to us, he included a copy of Attack of the Tentacles, the Alternative Tentacles record sampler, and there was loads of stuff on it, bands I hadn't heard before: Alice Donut, Hissanol, Peligro, Tribate, Wesley Willis, and No Means No. And we listened to this thing, and there was such weird sounds that we'd never heard, but No Means No's Lost just stuck out for me more than anything else. And I listened to that CD so many times, and Lost just was constantly the one standout track. It was brooding, it was apocalyptic, and the bass was like nothing I'd ever heard before. See, I'm the bass player for the band, so I was always looking for sort of bass inspiration, especially because at times the band was just me and the guitarist, so there was 2 of us, and I was always interested in bands where the bass was more prominent than it normally is. And this was like exactly that, this idea of the bass being a sort of lead instrument almost at times, and just Rob's voice was fantastic and John's drums. I just fell in love, and so did my guitarist friend in the band. he, a few weeks later, bought Wrong. And we listened to that. In those days, we would always like share duties of buying new albums and, get a copy from our friend and then buy something and they'd copy it from us. And I got the copy of Wrong. And I just, tired of waiting, was sort of everything I'd ever wanted in a song. But It's Catching Up became an anthem. I just couldn't stop listening to this album over and over and over again. So I started buying albums, 0 + 2 = 1. I bought Worldhood of the World as such because that's the album with Lost on it. Although I bought the LP and it's England, and so it didn't have Lost on it. And I bought Why Do They Call Me Mr. Happy, but it's England and the LP. So I didn't get Slowly Melting, Lullaby, or I Need You. All of these were treats I found later on CD releases of the albums. So I had, all kinds of weird, brilliant No Means No to discover. Listening to their old stuff, their new stuff. And they became my band, something about the bass, something about the vocals, something about the drums, everything spoke to me. I didn't really speak to the rest of my band. They didn't love it as much, but it really influenced my playing and my music and just everything. Even the lyrics made me think more philosophically. I was studying A-level philosophy at the time. I went on to study philosophy at university, and I literally took some courses on Hegel and Nietzsche just because of some throwaway banter that No Means No had used on stage at times. So I just loved what I was hearing, and there was no band like it. And when Dance of the Headless Bourgeoisie came out, it was like, my first new album of theirs to listen to live when it came out, and I couldn't stop playing that album. I know it's not everyone's favourite, but for me it's always got that special place because I just put that record on, listen to the bass, listen to the lyrics, and just, it's some of my greatest childhood memories. But I didn't get to see them actually play live until One came out, and that was a revelation in itself. That was the first time I got someone else in my band to love them as much as I did. Our drummer came to see the show because he was like, "Who's this band you keep going on about?" We went to see them in Derby, and if you're a drummer and you see John drum, you can't not fall in love with this band. And for me, just watching them, they were old men, and the support acts were all so much younger, and they blew them off the stage. They played 2.5 hours of total energy, amazing performance, and these young teenage guys like us who had supported them, I'd forgot about them by the end of the show. They were great. And when I continued listening to them as I moved around the country, to university in different places, saw them all kinds of places in the UK when they toured. But we actually played with the show business giants because of this Jello Biafra connection. We went to see Jello do a spoken word, and he knew the band, and we met his promoter at the show, and they ended up putting out a record of ours because they ran a label as well. But because of that, they put on gigs in Leeds, and show business giants were playing, and they invited us to support the 7-inch that we'd put out. So we played with the show business giants in Leeds sometime in the late 90s. And what I always remember about that gig was how kind, John and Tom were. John was, of all the drummers we've ever played with in any band, the only drummer who didn't mind us borrowing his drums. These like teenagers who are no one in the world would say, you can't borrow our drum kit, you've got to bring your own, backline, or you can't use our cymbals and don't hit it very hard, and give our drummer all kinds of dirty looks. We were kids. We had no equipment. We literally did the gig in Leeds by getting our friend's mom to drive us for 3 hours to Leeds and back, because none of us could drive yet at that time. And so we couldn't bring a drum kit, and we're a bit nervous about the fact that, the great John Wright's drum was going to be needed by our drummer. And John was just like, yeah, do what you want, do everything, it's fine, it's all there. Do you need anything else? There's more cymbals than this if you need some. He was just so kind, and I always judged every other band we played with against that, ever since that point. Meanwhile, Tom, what I loved about Tom, we bought loads of show business giants stuff off him, and, had a few chats and things. But years later, seeing No Means No places, he would remember, oh yeah, you guys are the Academy Morticians, we played with you that time. And I'd occasionally, write to him and buy, more show business giant stuff or whatever. And he always remembered, and sort of, I just liked that they never seemed like they were the biggest band in the world to me, but they never seemed, like a big band. They just were people doing a great job, really thinking, and they changed my life. I currently have a tattoo. It's a tattoo, it's forever a tattoo. Nonsense is better than no sense at all on my arm, because I just think their lyrics are so brilliant, and that lyric always just resonated with me from 0 + 2 = 1. And I had an opportunity to get this cartoonist guy do a tattoo with some text. And he's like, "What text do you want?" And I was like, "Let's just do that." So that's, etched on my skin forever, and the band are etched in my heart forever. No Means No, greatest band around, and I probably wouldn't be the person I am today if I hadn't listened to their music. So thanks, Jello Biafra, for sending me that free CD.
Thanks,
Nice.
Dan.
Thanks,
That's
Dan.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
man. Fucking great.
Oh,
A true
man.
brother in arms, right? Yeah, that was a great fucking
I
set
want to
of
hug
stories
the
there.
guy and
Yeah.
have a beer with him and tell him he's my new best friend.
Again, this is the first time that we're listening to the thing that gets played and doesn't get edited afterwards. It's really actually nice to do that.
Yeah. No, we're going to do it from now on, and I'm sorry that we
Yeah.
couldn't do that for the
No,
previous
I
ones.
know,
They've all been
'cause
great. But
in the past, when I've been listening to them after they've been added in later, like Sean's and I just always have something to say after that. And who was that, Chuck, when he had the cops show up to his house? That's fucking funny as hell.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well-
these are just, I love these.
So
And-
we'd love to get more of these submissions
Yeah,
from all
exactly.
y'all. Please send them into no means no thing podcast@gmail.com. You can split them up into the 3 questions that Dan didn't do that, but that's fine. What is your No Means No origin story? What does No Means No mean to you? And do you have like a personal story connected to No Means No? If you can split them up, that's great. But if you need any technical help, or if you would like us to read what you write, we have a few of those as well, which may be coming up soon. Then please let us know, and please let us know which of us you'd like to read. So thanks again for your submissions. Please keep them coming.
yeah, I mean, we're hearing your guys' stories that you guys are sending in, and the stories on, people post on Facebook and shit like that. It just reminds me this band has probably one of the greatest fan bases I've ever encountered.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everyone is so fucking smart and kind and into it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And whatever small part we can do to give people more excuse to throw their to express or hear other people express their love of the band, we're all for it. And your voices fucking matter in this. We really want to hear them. I love this segment.
I've known that
getting
about
to
the fan
hear.
base for a really long time. But it's definitely a new thing. And when we get the feedback from people, that we just started a podcast, like we're in different cities and shit, and we all do our jobs, and I'm in my basement, and to hear that we are actually helping people who've loved something for years to love it more and in different ways, that is such an incredible and surprising honor. So thank you so much for the feedback. And it's believe me, it's our pleasure.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And speaking of pleasure, we're about to do one that is not a pleasure for me. I mean, it is, but it's not, because it's fucking Sophie's choice here. We've got actually what I feel like this whole episode, one of the things I love about it is we've got some really good mix of eras. This is all like we've got some really good songs scattered across the entire fucking range of their catalog, which is great. And so for this round 2, we are plotting Every Day I Start to Ooze off of 0 + 2 = 1, 1991. God damn it. You gotta send that to me so I can put it in my little soundboard here. Motherfucker.
You're such a dork.
Highly appropriate. So Every Day I Start to Ooze 0 + 2 = 911 versus Jubilation, one of their last songs off of Tour EP2. It's Tour EP2, but the Jubilation is the song on the front of the EP or CD, depending. Well, I think it's a CD, but whatever. The album cover art, and that was in 2010. All right, so we're gonna start with Every Day I Start to Ooze, but before we go, and Michelle's gonna go first, we're gonna listen. Everyone, melt down in your chairs a little bit, ooze them bits, and let's hear a bit of this ooze.
Okay, that's life. That's what I was told anyway. And picking your feet till they bleed may only be the half of it. If every fourth animal in the world is a beetle, perhaps every fourth person is a dumb fuck. and razor blades in the hands of small children. It's my face smeared on the pavement. Oh, it's every day. It's every day. Monday, Monday, Tuesday, hot ugly, Thursday, pain day, Splashy, you dumb fuck!
All right, Michelle, ooze me up.
I kind of forgot I was going first because I
Yep,
I
too
needed
late.
to reread my. Well, all right, I'll just do it.
Just wing it.
Okay, here we go. Here's our favorite angsty tritone again, making us all uncomfy. I usually count 8 beats instead of 2 measures of measures. I said it just like D. Boone.
Measure.
The space measure. Instead of 2 measures of 4, but either way, Rob and John put the emphasis on the 4th beat, or just what it seems slightly forward of the 4th beat, which is also the second note of the tritone. I'm not even. I can't sing that low.
That was good. That was good.
No, I didn't get low enough. Yes, Matthew. Yes. Yep. I
we
can't
got
sing that low. But it's
Everyone's
the
real happy
second
we
note
did
of the tritone. So, but that's what they're putting the emphasis on. The second one of that. And tritones, as we've heard in other songs of theirs, it's a scary thing. Something bad's happening. It's a great groove and vibe. One of the few songs I hone in on some of the juicy lyrics. A few of my favorites, and I'm sure we'll talk about this. A bold plan drawn up by assholes to screw morons. And seriously, isn't that just the agenda of a bunch of politicians, right? I also like those Joneses. You gotta love them. And the scream, perhaps you should stop picking at it. You dumb fuck. This is just laced with a ton of one-liners that are just excellent. And I'm not sure about the disco rip in there.
Oh,
Well, no, if you like it, hey, no, go for it.
no, that's good. I don't mean to yuck your.
Well,
your
no,
shit.
I mean
Go for it.
it goes back into the lay down that I really like. So they did a good job, taking that disco break and getting back into the real meat of the song. The days of the week, my favorite day of the week is butt ugly. All right,
Nice.
that's what I got.
That is a hump day.
Now, butt
no hump
ugly.
That was fucking awesome. And to
Yeah.
your point, I think one thing you really highlighted, which I wouldn't be able to explicate, but fits right in with what I was fucking thinking about this song, is that deal with the tritones. Like, this is
Yes.
one of those songs where it on the surface, in some level, it's a real poppy, almost fun sort of fucking song, right? Like it's got a great beat. It's sort of got a kind of attitude towards it, but underneath it, it's covered in maggots. Like it's just dark
Right.
and fucking bad underneath. This is. I mean, I think Andy mentioned that Now It's Dark was influenced by Blue Velvet. This song feels like a Blue Velvet song to me. This is like all of this banal shit, but then right after the banal bit is a real fucking open festering wound, right? I mean, we're talking about, those fucking neighbors. Yeah, they're pulling people's arms off. And I mean, I actually can't even go through and highlight my favorite lyrics to this song because every fucking line is just golden.
It's juicy.
But what do I have to say about these lyrics? They're all fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing, this song. I think this song has the most lyrics of any No Means No song. This takes up like a page and a half of the lyric sheet. It's nonstop words from start to front, and there's just a shit ton of them. I don't know if I'm probably wrong, but it feels like one of the songs that has the most words per note for note of any fucking No Means No.
Oh, I knew it. I knew you were.
Yeah.
I knew you were going for that machine.
Rex Gajan, indeed. And this is Rob.
Satoy.
This is Rob at the top of his form with
Oh
that
my God,
Rex
he sounds
Gajan. It's
awesome.
fucking
He's so amazing.
fucking amazing. This is absolutely one of the classics. Small side note: I always wanted to fucking for Halloween stick a bag on my head and do that whole bit, but I knew no one would ever fucking get it. Right? I'm like, God damn it. Bag on my head with the sign that says
You're gonna say every day I start to Ooze, you would wait.
yeah, I want that as my I wanted that as my Halloween costume, but I knew no one would fucking get it. But
I would have
always just
thought
like,
you were the unknown comic if you did
I
that.
know, exactly. So I'm like, no one would have fucking gone it. But to the point of the disco break, one of the reasons I do love it is because it elevates that whole bit about how this poppy song is paired with an exposure of just real violence and brutality. You've got this real disco bit, and what are they singing? They're singing about the colors of blood and violence,
and bruises,
blue. And I always, it's funny, looking at the lyric sheet this time, I always thought it was just black and blue, but it's not. It's blue, black and blue and red. And what's funny too is those colors, if you take them in order, are the colors of the sky as it goes through the day. So it's like not only the violence of the colors of violence, but it's also the colors that the world goes through as it moves through its day. But there's that real sense of this song holds both things in its fist. It holds the banal and the violent and disgusting at the same time. And underneath it, Rob comes out of all of that and just says, none of that fucking matters. What matters is what you
picking at it.
It's what you do. It's the personal acts. Like there's this just existential line in the sand of like, don't fucking listen to the language. Don't listen to the shit people say. Don't listen to the shit they're telling you. What matters is what you fucking do. And he just says that with this kind of like
personal
fuck
acts.
you, these personal acts. And I love the way that I listened to it really carefully this time because I've always thought like, how well does he differentiate the word acts, like ACTS with AXE, right? Because he does. He says it's this, whatever, but he does it really fucking well, actually, when you listen to it. This is a fucking
those
errata.
Carelessly stored
razor blades and every line of it. And I don't know about the rest of you, but we were coming out of the pandemic. Now maybe we're going back into it. Who fucking knows? But every day, like early on in the pandemic, when everyone was like, I don't know what fucking day it is anymore. Who cares? My first thing, and I'm sure most No Means No fans were like, oh, well, today is Uns Day. Tomorrow's Nuns Day. The next day's Use Day. Like, I was like, those are my COVID days. That's just the days of Ooze. That's what we got.
Orange Day.
I wrote right there, I used those days of the names of the days of the week a lot during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly right. So I know I'm not alone. And then one more little bit of errata. I don't know if I'm the only one like this, but I know, and I can hear this kind of, and I know this is what it says, and this is what it says in the lyric sheet, but I've thought this since the day I heard it. Every time he says, if every fourth animal in the world is a beetle, then perhaps every fourth person is a dumb fuck, which is a great line. But it doesn't sound like beetle. It sounds like eel. He doesn't say B or T in that fucking word. He says eel. He doesn't say beetle. I know he does, but enunciate, Rob. Just, get your consonants out there a little bit. That's always fucking bugged me. This song's just fucking amazing, man. I mean, yep. I could literally sit here and go line by line and just sort of pick it apart and say why every line is brilliant, but that's nonsense. This song it's an absolute classic. And the last thing I'll say about it, in a meta way, is I've always loved how this is the fulcrum of the album. That this album to me feels like two halves in a way.
Song one, side two.
Yeah, and this is the song that breaks it up and casts you, like it leads you out of the previous songs and casts you into the remainder. It's perfectly sequenced, perfectly placed. It's a pop punk prog fucking in your face masterpiece. All the musicians at the top of their game in this. This is a distillation of what makes No Means No so fucking good. And 12 stars out of 4. Yep. All right, Matthew, you're left.
Yeah, I could quote basically the entire album word for word. I don't know if I can do that for any other No Means No album, but this particular song, I know every word. But when I sat down to actually read them, I'm like, what do any of these have to do with each other? It's almost like, I mean, I kind of get it, but it's almost like he was writing down a bunch of like the most quotable possible lines,
right?
And then decided to make a song around them, even though they don't necessarily connect to each other all that obviously, at least. It's such a happy sounding song. I think it definitely refers to Every Day I Have the Blues by B.B. King. I believe somebody on the podcast group said that, and I went back and looked at it. I'm like, I think it's can't not be a little echo
probably
of that.
100% true.
Yeah. But anyway, it definitely conjures up. It's like you're saying, some of the things you were saying, Jordan, it's bright and shiny, but it's like horrifying at the same time. I sort of think about the day everything became nothing happens at night. This happens in the middle of the afternoon on a weekend.
On a
Hey,
suburban
point.
street. Yeah.
Nice
in a
point.
suburb, and maybe it's Rob or maybe it's somebody is saying all these lines. He's got fucking one slipper on in his bathrobe and he's just wandering around and all this like horrible shit's going on, and he doesn't care. He's just smiling, talking about just narrating what his day's like and blah blah blah. Bright and shiny day. I love the repetitive bass and drums. So many like kind of happy little things. Like he's playing, John's playing way up on the bell, in the ding, 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 in, I guess in the first third of the song somewhere. But yeah, bold plan, drawn up by assholes and screw morons. News at 11. It's like,
shit.
Yeah,
That line is the shit.
the absolute
Classic.
banal, the absolute expected. Hello.
Yeah. Oh
I think
God.
that's probably John. The fill after you dumb fuck is my favorite. I will actually rewind that one little bit just to hear that fill over and over again.
See, that's cool.
good.
That's cool.
The middle dancey part, I fucking love it. The female vocals, I looked it up. It's somebody named Lissa Burse. And she's also on the Jello album somewhere, apparently. I looked in
Did she do the End of All Things part 2? The
No, that's not
female
her.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought it would be, but it's all right.
And then she did some vocals, or maybe she was in the band. It was hard to tell. Band called the Beat Farmers, who used to play Victoria all the
I
time.
remember that band.
Yeah.
The Beat Farmers. Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
black and blue and red, blue, black and blue and red. I mean, just the everyday banality of being horribly abused. An interesting choice towards the end to me, and I actually went and listened to I'm kind of a complicated thing to listen to a CD at my house these days, because mostly I'm listening to MP3s probably on my phone and shit. All the vinyl people are like, oh, you don't know. But it's consistent through all of it, so I think it has to be a choice. There's they pin the fucking levels.
Yes.
Stop picking at it, in the hands of small children, and the scream, like it's fuzzing out. Like they
100%.
they didn't put normalize on there at all.
Nope.
The sound quality is distorted on
I love
purpose,
that.
and
It
love
sounds
that.
so good.
yeah, it sounds because it
'Cause
sounds
it's
so fucking wrong.
Exactly. And it's at just the right moments, right? Or just the
Yeah.
wrong moments, as you said, but they're perfectly placed.
Yep.
And I was well known when I was doing my show at the radio station for being a big No Means No fan. And there was this guy who never really kind of let him get under my skin too much. But I think he tried to bully me a little bit. He didn't like me. And he was making fun of me. And he was making fun of 0 + 2 = 1. And the dancey part in the fucking No Means No song. I'm like, that part is amazing. Your favorite band is the Fastbacks or something. Nothing against the Fastbacks, but fuck you. you don't get to judge me for that. Anyway. That's about it. And then I love the fact that Jordan's talked before how the second side, like the B side of 0 + 2 = 1 is really connected together. I've always kind of thought that Every Day You Start to Ooze is a little different. It's from the rest, from what follows. But you dumb fuck, and then right into When Putting It all in order ain't enough. It's such an amazing sequence still.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a pretty great song. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but holy fuck is it quotable.
And just one more bit about those lyrics that you brought up, Matthew, that I think is really interesting is that part about not really understanding, like having a hard time figuring out when you really read it what the fuck they're trying to say. There are whole verses where I'm like, is the top part supposed to be connected to the bottom part, or is that a different thing? Like when the person's saying, my mom phoned up the police today just to say hello, and then it's, my girlfriend has been missing for 3 weeks. It's like, well, that could be the mom saying that one of her girlfriends has been missing for 3 weeks to the police. Or is that different? Is that a new line about, that's just a new thought, right? Like
exactly.
And that's what I love about it. It's like
Rob going through his troubles.
I just love it. It's fucking brilliant. Great.
I think it's it's apocalyptic and it's an insane person. So
Yeah.
how are you going to follow that thought process?
Yeah, no, it's and if any song calls out for someone to make a fucking weird ass video, this song would make a hella good weird
wouldn't
ass
it, though?
video.
Oh man,
so
you're right.
good.
Stop motion or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
or some sort of just Lynch needs to get a hold of this. All right.
Oh, perfect.
So let's move on to its contender, which is from the very end of the band's tenure, Jubilation, off of, again, tour EP, the titled Jubilation, more or less, from 2010. So let's get a little jubilicious and listen to a clip of
Nothing left to hang on to in this wicked world. That's liberation. No more words, nothing left to say. Still the voices sing in jubilation. Nothing left to hang on to in this whole damn world. That's liberation. No more goals or stupid dreams. Nothing in this world. That's jubilation. That's jubilation. That's jubilation. That's jubilation. That's jubilation.
All right, Michelle, go ahead.
I have a confession.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
I've never heard this before
No.
until our podcast assignment. I know. I'm a half-ass fan.
You have absolutely
I have
brought me
never
up short.
heard what?
You've brought me up
I
short.
What does
That's-
that mean?
It just means like,
Oh,
I can't
well,
fucking. Anyway, go
do you
ahead.
need
Sorry.
to CPR?
Yeah, probably.
I've never heard this before. Our little podcast assignment. I really dig the music in this in this song, and especially the verses. The major keyed chorus part doesn't do much for me, yet they are still laying it down. I listened to the recorded version of this and also a live version, and I gotta say I like the song a lot more watching them play it live. Rob gets stinky with the verses and smiles a bunch in the chorus. It's really cool to see. The live version has some fantastic faces and a great Rob kick. I forget which live video, but you remember how he just used to kick his fucking
Yep.
foot out? It's hilarious. He does a great Rob kick during the cool and farty instrumental part. A really great ditty if you're feeling shitty.
Nice. All right, so I'm up. I think this is a late period masterpiece. I think this is fucking fantastic. I love this song. This is Rob at his most explicitly Buddhist, frankly. This is a song all about non-attachment, about the liberation of not being attached to anything. And the way he goes through the verses, frankly, it's a really tricky idea. It's one that's kind of easy to bounce off of if you're approaching Buddhism or thinking about esoteric thought in that way. But Rob really fucking goes for it. I mean, he starts off with what I believe to be a pretty straightforward 9/11 reference to towers falling and rubbles and dust, and then just goes through a litany of things, both wonderful and horrible, and strips them all down, breaks them all down to the fucking ground, and then just has these joyous exaltations about the joy of being liberated, how that's jubilation, how that's liberation. And you just feel Rob's joy in the discovery of letting go of all of that shit and how that is real fucking presence. That's peace, is letting go of everything, both the really fucking great and the really fucking bad. And I love how he puts in that, like, all the members of my favorite band, they're all dead. Yeah, that's going to be No Means No someday, right? Like, that's all of us. The members of our favorite band are going to be fucking dead, but so is the Third Reich, everybody, right? Like, don't fucking worry. It's all fucking there. I don't love the production on this song. I think the production's a little bit weird compared to some of the other songs, although that wet, juicy fucking, it's not even a bass drum beat towards the end, but it's some sort of fucking drop where the bass explodes towards the end of the last verse. I fucking love it. It's wet and juicy and it just goes all over me. This song makes me feel a little Joyful Reunion vibes to it, in a sense, both in the intensity of it and sort of the joy behind it, a little less angsty than it. this really to me is a statement of where Rob was at more. I mean, that's presumptuous to say. What he was trying to say maybe towards the end of the band. There's a couple more songs on that EP that are like this, but this one in particular is just a joyous fucking exaltation. And one of the reasons I love it is it just being a fan of the band for so long, having followed them from as long as I could have from when I first discovered them, and seeing Rob make this kind of statement is so joyous to me. It's so fucking great to hear him exclaim it so poetically, so perfectly, and coming to a understanding of a form of peace through something real, not a fake, pussy piece, but like a real piece through the type of acceptance that takes real fucking work and real self-inquiry in a way that most people don't have the fucking stomach to look at. Most people don't have the stomach to go there. And if anybody could do it, Rob could. And he made music that not only gets the words across, but gets the passion across. And Michelle, you talked about live. They played this live almost every time I saw them late period once this came out. A few times I got to see it. And he was fucking joyful. There was jubilation in singing this.
Looked great.
And that was real shit coming out of him from this. So I think this is definitely a late period masterpiece. I adore the song. I think it's great. And again, I could go line by line, the shit about, you go from talking about, nuclear rods glowing bright and hot, and then talking about the Third Reich, and he brings in all the mythology that he likes to bring in. It's just so juicy. Rob's a fucking lyrical genius, and I love where he went. I love the journey he was on. I love seeing this as one of his final statements. Anyway, Matthew, you're up.
Wow.
Yeah, not super familiar with it either. I mean, I had it, but didn't listen to it all that much. But yeah, wonderful song. Kind of a little more straightforward in terms of structure and everything like that. A little more, it's very rock and roll song. But yeah, song of the joy of nothingness. It's actually kind of reminds me of Forget Your Life thematically in some ways. Yeah, everything good and everything bad goes away. And if it doesn't, you do. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it's a happy song. And I love how whenever they say they're all dead, and they say that I think 3 or 4 times in the song, they all shout it together. It's so great. They're all dead. Yes. Yeah, the breakdown, like Michelle was saying, is a little surprising, but it sort of makes sense. It's Tomish. I actually kind of like it as maybe Tom asserting himself in the band a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's a little
nice.
bit, almost even like southern rock, kind of almost. And it's a great simple Tom solo. It's pretty great. And then Tom's background vocals at the end, where they're saying that's Jubilation over and over again, where he's actually singing real background singing. And it's so nice to hear it, because I can sort of picture Tom's, strained neck veins and everything like that, just really just shouting that one out. Interestingly, Land of the Living, the bass drum pattern reminded me a lot of Body Bag. And in this song, the bass line reminds me of Body Bag.
But we're not there yet, and I'm not going to give it away. But there's another song off of another album that is the Body Bag.
Yeah, it's off that part.
Let's not talk about it yet. I don't want to spoil it, but they totally reused that riff a bunch of times, and it's once explicitly, it seems to me. But anyway, let's keep going. We'll talk about it after the episode.
That good. That's why. It's that
but the
good.
song, I like the song, but it again, as the metaphor I've used before on a couple of the songs, it feels like it needs to tighten its laces a little bit. It's maybe the production feels a little unfinished, but I still like it a lot. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll maybe talk. We'll see if we have anything more to say about it when we do our votes. But Michelle, I'm going to let you weigh in on what your vote goes in this pair up.
I'm voting Every Day I Start to Ooze, but I feel like a little bit of a failure for not knowing more about Jubilation and hearing your thoughts about it. But
it's where you're at.
But it's kind of lame, isn't it?
No, man. We're all where we're at. There's no lameness. You got to vote from where you're at.
I don't know. I don't know. I like how you said it's kind of like where Rob was at.
Well, now you listen.
I love my Rob, but
you have something I don't, which is you have an opportunity to re-listen to this song again, having not digested it a million times, and I've already heard it a million times. So you're ahead of me. I love that feeling of a new No Means No song.
So you envy me. I see what you're saying.
do.
I see what
I
you're
do.
saying. But yes, I'm gonna vote Every Day I Start to Ooze.
How about you, Jordan?
Yep, I'm on the same track. Every day I start to ooze. This is a hard one for me because
Whoa.
I really love Jubilation. I think it's a great
I
fucking
didn't
song.
think you were gonna do that.
Yeah, this is not easy for me, but Every Day I Start to Ooze is absolutely one of their classics, hands down, full stop. I couldn't. This is an unfortunate pairing. I don't like that Jubilation came up against it.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes me mad because I think Jubilation could have won against a bunch of other songs, but not against this one, unfortunately. But I love it. I think it's a great song. I do not cast it aside lightly. I do not cast my vote lightly. But Ooze is just, I don't know. It's just fucking classic. What are you gonna do, Matthew?
Yeah. It's always been one of my favorites. Off this album, the lyrics are just so funny, and it just encapsulates so much about No Means No. The incredible chops, and the contrast and everything like that. But also like it's super crazy, dark, scary, but also really funny. And that's such an important thing to me about No Means No, is that sense of humor, even when they're dealing with like really, really dark shit. So it's got to go to Ooze for me.
Nice.
Whoa.
We're unanimous. We're unanimous on
We
both.
did unanimous. We did unanimousness for the whole thing.
Unanimousness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Again, this was difficult pairings. I mean, really, really good songs, but real fucking bruisers. Really hard to defeat.
So apologies to anyone who feels our choices were wrong. They probably were, but they probably weren't. There's no right or wrong here, right? There's wrong with a capital W, but there's no. They're all fucking great songs.
But it's our podcast, so fuck off.
So fuck off.
Oh, come on.
So
come on.
We're gonna give you a little palate cleanser. We've got another Andy's corrections, and this time I get the pleasure of reading it. So I'm gonna go ahead and kick it in. So pretend I'm doing this as the Sultan of Shriek. No, that was the Sheik
the
of Shriek.
shriek of
Seek of Shriek.
The
I can't say it.
of Shriek.
Can't say it. I lost my own fucking joke.
I love that.
I am editing that out of the podcast. All right, here we go.
No.
Here's Andy.
The Seek of Shriek.
Humans. Yes, it's a John song, likely written and rehearsed in 1991. I don't think it was ever played live while I was still in the band. Rob's middle vocal bit was written and added after I had left. But when I joined in for a few numbers with No Means No in Amsterdam in 2004, I played along on this song.
Oh, man.
Which side note, fucking shit. I could have been there anyway.
Yeah.
So back to it. Forget Your Life. Rob considered this a breakthrough song for him in terms of songwriting. And yes, Matthew, you are correct in suggesting that the song actually has a positive message. Rob used to explain it much like you did, that there's a sort of freedom to be found in shedding your precious concepts of yourself and how you believe your life is. Forget it. Be no thing. On the 2-piece 4-track version, by far the best version in my opinion, that was Andy, not me, you can hear John's Roland Strings keyboard, maybe an RS-202, and Rob playing his Black Strat through a Boss DS1 distortion pedal in combination with the mighty Roland Chorus Echo unit. Not so much to say about the second recording of Forget Your Life. We were happy enough with how it turned out, and that we got it out to a bigger public. The 7-inch was long out of print. But I don't think any of us were under the illusion that it was better than the original. And though you probably already knew this already, there is no bass guitar in the song on either version, thus belonging to the list of twin guitar No Means No songs, including Revenge, Joyful Reunion, He Learned How to Bleed, etc. Tired of Waiting. Lyrically speaking, yes, you get a little bit of a howl there. Lyrically speaking, this is kind of a first cousin to Stock Taking in some ways. In Tired of Waiting, you have biding time, wasting time dilemma, while in Stock Taking, you have being sick and tired versus being happy enough. As well, they are both assessments on the state of failing relationships. John is really the star in this one. I don't think I realized when I was in the band just how remarkable he was. The guitar solo was meant to be a very happy melodic line, but sounded like it was played by someone who wasn't altogether right in the head. I had Fred Firth's solo from the Residents' Moisture on their commercial album as a kind of template, though in the end, didn't sound much like that at all. Well, Andy, thank you again, as always. Holy shit. I mean, it's fucking crazy to get all that info. One of my favorite parts of doing this is the fact that we get this inside baseball. And another song, Humans, had no idea it was an earlier. I mean, it makes sense. A lot of the songs on the album seem to be, but that's fucking great. So thank you, everybody. You guys got any last will and testaments before we kill it?
No, just thanks for listening, everybody.
As always,
Yeah.
great.
I want
Well,
to say something that when we listened to, I forgot his name, the nice guy from England who
Dan McKee.
yes,
Dan McKee,
Dan,
yes.
how he highlighted the fact that this band is very humble
yeah.
to me, and
Yep.
they have always seemed so, and I really like that about them.
Yep.
And it was always a concern for me when I really started to really fall in love with them. Like I if I ever meet them, I hope they're cool, and it's just so amazing to hear that they are cool, and that anybody who's ever dealt with them in any kind of way, be it the promoters, the venues, the anything, the bands that play along with them, they're cool, nice, humble guys. It's
Hell yeah.
beautiful.
And
Hell
there's
yeah.
so much in their music about it that's
Yeah.
how they figure that people should be. So they really practice what they preach.
Exactly. Walk the walk.
Yep.
Well, you made it to another. This one's actually going to be a pretty epically long episode. So thank you, everybody, for making it through. And just want to leave you with his miracles abound, but they are drowned in the sound of tapping fingers.